Hey everybody, it's Christine Parakis and we're back on the Career Invincibility Show, and I have been so excited and waiting for this guest and our time together. It's going to go so fast. We've got so much to talk about, but let me introduce Brian Ridgeway, a #1 international best-selling author and founder of Level 5 Mentoring. He's known by tens of thousands of readers and clients in 84 countries as the Spellbreaker. We're going to talk a bit about what spell breaking is. It's his transformational approach that he calls that's dissolving the illusion of problems. And people who experience spell breaks report everything from epiphanies and breakthroughs to literal miracles. Who couldn't use more of that? So without further ado, Brian, tell us how you dissolve the frozen energies trapped in our mental, emotional, and physical bodies.
Beautiful. Wow. Starting with the deep stuff.
Well, there's no time aloha. To waste. Aloha.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Aloha, everybody. So, yeah, I've discovered that I had a really unusual gift around age 3. I was able to look at people and basically see and hear in their words exactly how they were holding themselves back. I didn't know at the time that everybody wasn't doing it. And so I've been doing this since I was about 3 years old. I'm 56 according to trips around the planet. And what I do is I live the paradigm, the new paradigm that's coming in for everyone, that we're discovering there is no physical universe here. And by reflecting that, living it in my own life and reflecting it in communication with my clients, the people that come to me, literally, I watch things. I don't call myself a healer, but I watch literal physical diseases, cancer, things that, can't change, scoliosis, as well as life issues. I watch them literally dissolve in the process of a conversation.
Well, that's so powerful. And if I may share, I just lost my father a couple of weeks ago. We just buried him a few days ago. And it's an opportunity to go back through, and I'm sure lots of people listening can relate to losing a parent or somebody that close to them that they love, but also experiencing the patterns of family behavior that has formulated who we've become, that when we get it deep into our adult lives, we don't realize are still impacting us. And I'm assuming that's the kind of thing that you can help us transcend.
That's absolutely correct. And, I, having done this for so long and having getting the type of results that I get, which still amaze me every day, I am in a really unique position of, Christine, I get to see into the almost universal roots of the issues that virtually everyone is carrying, because trauma isn't just losing a loved one or, being beaten or some of the horrific things that can happen to us. Actually, trauma is when you're 3 years old and you really wanted that cookie and your mommy said you could have the cookie, but your sister breaks the vase and you get accused of it and you don't get the cookie. Those kind of things, I watch CEOs, millionaires, otherwise incredibly successful people stumble again and again in their lives because of what anyone would say, well, that was a small moment. No, not true, because you got to think about the age you were at when it happened. And so, these things that we literally have carried since, in many cases, ideas and emotions we picked up in the womb. And I know that's too far out for a lot of people, but it's just a simple truth. And so these things are reflecting and bouncing around in our bodies, our minds, and our emotions, and they are why we do the crazy, seemingly self-sabotaging things that we do. And when they're handled, literally lives just correct and go into bliss. It's amazing.
It's so funny that you should use that age and that type of memory, because that's like the earliest memory I have is of being 3 years old and being accused of stealing oranges from my grandmother's grocery store because I was sent on a mission to go bring oranges home, and my step-grandfather was accusing me of stealing them. And what is that kind of, how does one break any residue from that kind of thread? Because I'm assuming you would say that that memory has transcended into all kinds of different zigs and zags I may have encountered or created in my life. And for
Yes,
any of us.
For all of us, and I gotta say that the question really goes deeper. I have no issue with answering it. It's just that it goes so much deeper than can be answered in a very few words. So I'll touch the part that I can here. It's not just the memory, and it's not just the belief. It's not just the conclusions we reach. The emotions. We are multi-dimensional beings, and the emotional component of something like that will actually get frozen in our physical bodies, and it will bond and connect with other things to where later on we're having symptoms that if we were to go to a medical professional, they would diagnose it as you have XYZ. And I can see that it's actually the emotion of that moment when you were accused by someone you loved and trusted and admired, someone who's incredibly important to you. And that would have gotten woven into every other emotional moment where you were falsely accused, where you were unfairly treated. So it creates these masses of webs, you could say, in our minds, in our bodies, in our emotions, in our organs. And to erase those, really, I'm sure everybody listening has done plenty of inner work, as I had, and still found their deepest issues weren't handled, and that's why. So it really requires a bit of a deeper approach than most people are used to be able to unmake the entire structure. But when you do, when you unmake the mental and the emotional, all the conclusions, all the sensations in your body, it literally disappears out of your existence. So that's where the word miracles come in. I know, again, that's kind of far out for a lot of people. It's my daily, constant reality.
Well, I have no problem with that. I'm accused of using the word more than its share deserves, apparently, as well. But, tell us what a core paradigm is, and how does that hook into what we're talking about?
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm so glad. I was just thinking that. I'm really glad you asked that specific question. So here is really the bottom line. Our core paradigm, and I'm speaking of 99.99999% of the people on this planet today, the core paradigm was given to us by our educational system, governmental, educational, medical, military, etc. And that is the paradigm of Newton, which, it's in all the universities, it's universally taught, and it is utterly disproven and false. And that is that we are physical chunks of meat in a physical universe that's fairly static with actual constants that never change. And I say it one more time, it's literally ubiquitous. It's taught everywhere. It is the official way that human beings are conditioned and taught, and I say programmed. Whereas for millennia, not just centuries, for millennia, the seers have said there is no physical universe here. This is a universe of light. We're in a state of infinite possibilities, and anything and everything can change beyond our wildest dreams. Well, for some reason, that truth is not something that a lot of people want to look at or consider. And so the core paradigm of I am a meat suit in a machine literally runs our entire existence. And I cannot overstate that. I can use few words, but I can't overstate it. It runs our entire lives, our entire existence. All of our thoughts and conclusions and all the possibilities that we accept flow from our core paradigm. So what I'm proposing is that if we are living our lives, and we all are, living our lives, even if we believe in infinite possibilities, even if we believe that everything is energy, our programming and our conclusion still flows from our core paradigm, which is I'm a meat suit in a giant machine that's going to grind me to ribbons one of these days, when I die. And so if we're living our lives according to a false paradigm, that's the most difficult way to live, and we're taught, that energy thing, that's woo-woo, that miracle thing, that's woo-woo, that spiritual stuff is woo-woo. I say, what if everything is energy is the simple, most practical, pragmatic way to live your life and create the life you want, and the materialism is actually the woo-woo, and we have been given it completely backwards. So what I really help people to do in dissolving the illusion of problems, I'm helping them to solve whatever problem they came to me with, no matter what it is, even if they think it's impossible to solve. And I'm actually helping them unmake the illusion of problems which emanates from that false paradigm that we think we're meat suits in a machine.
Wow. So that's at the core, but then you talk about 5 core paradigms. What is that?
Yeah, in short, we all live in one of 5 ways. And to really, I know we don't have much time here, but to be very brief and just touch on the 5. The first one is ultimately, I'm just a meat suit in a machine, and it's basically a caveman, a cave woman. We've all lived that role in our lives of awareness, and we're surrounded by people who still think and feel that way. That life is hard, I'm a meat suit, I got to fight and battle and use my back to get enough bananas and bring them home to feed the family for the week or the month. And then the second level of awareness I call mindset. And that is where people say, well, no, I've evolved beyond being just a meat suit. They don't know. They still believe they're a meat suit. And so they say, no, I use my mind. I can multiply my productivity, and I can be intelligent, and I can put those dumbass meat suits to work for me because they think they're superior in this mind place. But they're still battling for enough bananas to get through the week. The third level I call religiosity, and this third core paradigm of life. We're still believing we're meat suits, but we have this idea. We hear there might be this God. We hear there might be some higher power, something bigger than all of us, and we get all the rules and all the steps that we have to learn in order to either make it to heaven later, or at the very least have a lot more bananas now while we're still a meat suit, and live a better life that's maybe a little bit more loving. The fourth core paradigm I call being spiritual, and I say this with a lot of love because literally almost everyone I know is trapped in the fourth paradigm, all the people in my world. I have coaches and therapists and healers and energy workers and psychologists that come to me, for help with their stuff. And virtually everyone I know is trapped in this fourth paradigm of being spiritual, which is, okay, I'm starting to get that everything is energy, and I'm starting to get that everything's possibilities, but I keep stubbing my damn toe on rocks, and this physical thing is so frustrating, and I just can't seem to get through it. So those are the 4. And then the 5th paradigm is ultimate truth, where you step into living. Wait a minute, everything is actually energy. Oh, my God, I am not physical. I am in a state of infinite possibilities, and that is it's a life of constant miraculous experience. And I'll kind of cap that off by saying Einstein said, this relates to what you said a moment ago about using the word too much. Einstein said, and I infinitely agree with him, he said we can only live our lives one of 2 ways, as if nothing is a miracle or as if everything is a miracle. And, everybody who walks around talking about miracles is slightly, I use the word because it's in the vernacular, but it's actually a misunderstanding. We are part of the one infinite, never-ending, unfolding, emerging miracle of this energy paradigm. So that's the best I can do it in the shortest time.
Wow. So how have you taken this into the 5 levels of transformational work that you've talked about?
Wow. I tell you what, I knew you were amazing, Christine, but I'm going to tell you something. Your questions are just super incisive. So I'm really enjoying the conversation. I'm sure this is going to bless some people.
Well, that's what we're here to do, right?
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. I'm really enjoying this conversation. So the 5 levels of transformation that I look out and see are, first of all, information. People say, I would like to change my life. I'd like to change something. So they start looking for information. Oh my gosh, you mean you don't have to live like this? That's the first step. And lots of people are there. I'm looking for information on how to change my life. We have too much information. We don't need any more information, and most of it's just rehashed. Well, the second level is fascination. People say, oh, my God, I found this amazing information. It's so fascinating. I'm so stimulated. I went to that 4-day seminar, and it was just mind-blowing. But, of course, nothing changed whatsoever in my life.